Hi, Kalibakta here. I haven't made a video in a couple of months. I'm sorry about that, but my life just got really complicated. But I'm back. Now, in my previous two videos about alien abductions, I left something out that in retrospect is a really obvious point that I should have included, and that is this. The reason the aliens are abducting humans and collecting ova and semen is that they want to create a race of human-alien hybrids who will act as emissaries for their takeover of planet Earth. Many hybrids have already been bred, and the human parents are often re-abducted in order to visit and bond with their hybrid offspring. Many of the parents report that the hybrid children they're presented with appear pale and sickly. This is something that I always found puzzling, since it would seem to me that a technically advanced race that could create hybrids with such hugely different species would have the technology to patch any genetic holes and create healthy offspring. I think now I know what the problem is. Morphine Child left a comment to my first video informing me that the aliens are in fact evil spirits and the devil is mating with humans. And suddenly things started to make sense. I did some research into the matter, and I found that there are actually two major schools of thought in the aliens of demons theory. Both of the theories postulate that the demons are the sons of God described in Genesis chapter 6, who became enamored of the daughters of men, took wives, and fathered offspring. These offspring were the giants, or Nephilim, who apparently caused such great violence and wickedness on the earth that God needed to find the last pure human family left on the planet, have them build a big boat, and just flood the whole world and start over with it in a fishdom. I mean Noah. One of the theories has it that the demons are interdimensional beings that can't survive for any length of time in our dimension, but still want to take it over. So they need to interbreed with humans and create offspring that can survive here. This would account for the state of apparent poor genetic health of the hybrids. The experts in this school of thought tell us that there are in fact healthy hybrids living among us who, aside from having noses that are a little on the small side and eyes that are a little on the large side, basically look human. These healthy hybrids are usually said to be second-generation offspring, basically the children of the original hybrids who've been crossed back with humans by means of sperm and ova taken from other abductees. The other school of thought, and seems to be the more popular one, is that the aliens are in fact demons in the classic Orthodox Christian sense of the word. They're fallen angels. They're non-corporeal beings that have the ability to temporarily take on solid form in order to interact with humans. There are accounts of the Bible of aliens visiting humans and even eating with them. But this theory leaves me with a few questions. The first question is, if these fallen angels are able to take on an apparent physical form, why appear as frightening alien beings who subject humans to traumatic abductions? Why don't they just take on the form of really hot men or women and make the babies the old-fashioned way? The second question is, if the demon's solid form is an illusion, wouldn't the DNA they contribute to the offspring also be illusory? And wouldn't it require a certain amount of concentration to maintain the DNA in solid form in order to keep the offspring alive? I know that these supernatural beings are supposed to have the ability to multi-locate, but they are still finite beings with jobs to do besides breeding with humans. So while they could probably keep part of their concentration focused on a few offspring, while simultaneously tempting some despot to commit genocide on a minority tribe living in his country, too many children and eventually grandchildren would take up a lot of the demon's mental energy. And even a momentary loss of concentration would result in half of their offspring's DNA suddenly not being there anymore. nobody would notice anything wrong at first, but eventually the half-demons would start to deteriorate. Digestion would stop, cell division would cease. The genes that coded for many proteins and life functions would just not be there to do their jobs. Cell growth would become unregulated, which would result in cancer running rampant through the body. Cells could also potentially grow too large for their own membranes, generate a lot of heat, and the body could basically cook itself from the inside out. It would be a slow, painful, and probably extremely squick-inducing death. So if the demons are in fact breeding with humans, they'd best be prepared for 24/7 parenting, grandparenting, and probably several generations of descendant care if they want to establish a new race of Nephilim to rule.